Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Hey, hi. So I see my camera is a little off, so I'm just going to straighten that up for you. Okay, I don't know what's going on here, but the angle is a lot different today on YouTube, the app. So okay, that's good. All right, how is everybody? I was reading the chat and I saw there's so many of you guys from the UK here tonight, and it really surprises me because I thought you would all be in bed. So, um, I am so excited to do this. I can't tell you guys how much I enjoy doing these live readings. Like, I get a lot of juice from this, but I'm just going to warn you. I have been reading since 7 o'clock this morning. It's now or 6 at night, so I'm a little, tired, but I'm still excited to do it. So just bear with me if I'm a little slow with what I'm about to say. That's why. Okay. Thailand, excellent. Do we have any Aussies or Kiwis here tonight? Because that's why I thought we would try an evening reading. Good morning. Oh, excellent. Okay. Hi, Emma. Awesome, Natalie. Oh, good. You guys are here, so that's excellent. Okay, so we are going to do our spiritual check-in, checkup, right? So what I'm thinking is I'm going to let it be viewer's choice as to which we're going to do. Now, I can lay them all out like this, or I can, somebody's trying to call me in the middle of the reading. I can lay them all out like this, or I can do the spread that I did in our last spiritual check-in, which is a little more detailed in the reading. So what do you guys say? Lay them out or spread? Yeah, sorry about the phone. It's like, it's just the nature of it, right? As soon as you start to spread. Wow. Seems like by a landslide, it's a spread. Okay. Okay, so what I'll do then is I'll do the spread because it seems more want the spread, and then we'll lay out just a couple because I have each of the other two decks, and we'll lay those out without a spread. Okay. All right. Whatever I'm drawn to, yes. Okay. So we're going to do this as a collective for the group. So I'm going to say to you guys exactly what I would say if you and I were doing a reading here on Skype or Messenger. And I'm going to say, just get yourself comfy in your chair. Let your body relax a little bit, especially your belly, because we tend to hold our stress and tension in our stomachs. And just take a few nice breaths. And I'm just going to shuffle these cards up, guys. And I'm going to shuffle them until they feel ready. So it may take a few minutes here. So, spiritual check-in and check-up. What do we need to know for the week? What is happening here for our group collective reading? What do we need to know? Well, that was surprisingly fast. I didn't expect that they would be ready that quickly. Okay. Oh my goodness. So, all right, so they are starting right off the bat with a little bit of personal work. All right. Now this is nice. Okay. That's funny because I said as soon as I laid out the first card, like it feels like they're talking about some personal growth work. You know, you guys taking care of the world in here, and the very last card that sits out is a healing card. So this is absolutely about that. But of course, um, they've got a lot going on here in the spiritual realm as far as intuition. So I'm actually going to read this a little bit out of order. So normally this card is up here, okay? So this main row is talking like our path and purpose for this week. So the row above it is our spiritual lessons, higher learning, that sort of thing. So wherever we have a spiritual lesson is where we are challenged, right? That's where life seems to confront us. And the funny thing is, they have a card here that it represents, um, it's the knowledge card, okay? And so that knowledge card, you can see the outline of this person's body. And this energy is coming in through this wide open crown chakra and then out through this person. So a lot of what they're talking about that is that this week for you guys, this is a lot about you guys tapping into your own source and wealth of inner information and, connecting intuitively. And I have to say, I think it's the first time, but I'm going to try to hold this up close enough so that you can see why this card actually relates often to channeling or intuitive work and not just like bringing through knowledge and information. Because in this energy that's entering the crown, I'm going to bring it up nice and close. Can you see these faces in here? And in that energy, they're talking about making this spiritual connection, you guys connecting to your guides, connecting to your angels. And so, because this is the area where you're challenged, you may feel challenged when you are trying to connect or challenged in finding the quiet space to do it. But it feels like you guys are really being asked, and it kind of works with being in quarantine where we have a quieter days and more time to really focus in on ourselves, that this is about you guys being able to make your own connection for spirit and being able to, you know, discern the wisdom that wants to come through you, right? Now, the other card that's sitting here, though, is the feline card. And you guys can see this like cat-like face in here. And I love this card. So the feline card is talking about, I'm sure you guys have seen a cat in the grass and it sees a bird and it like freezes and it just kind of holds still. And so in some relation, in some way, it can be like you guys feeling like you're kind of in this holding pattern, but you have your eye on the prize, which is that birdie, right? Your intuitive connection. And that cat, when instinct kicks in, when the timing is right, when, whatever, the stars align, that cat goes, okay, it's time. And it just leaps out and leaps forward onto what it's going for. So a lot of what they're talking about here in spiritual lessons and learning is moving through that holding that place, that pattern of where you're feeling stuck in your connection to spirit. And I also feel for some of you, this is about you guys are already well connected and already working this channel. And it's about moving to the next step, the next big step, big leap in sharing now what you get and sharing it out here, whether that's, just with friends or writing it down or putting it out there to a larger group of people. Like, because this is a collective reading, this is going to be different for each of you. Okay. So the very first card that I lay out, that represents us as a collective, as this group watching this reading. And this first card that lays out here, it really, okay, so it's the innocence card. And with that innocence card, what they're talking about there is about the two core blockages to us truly seeing our innocence, which is, like our purity, above all the human stuff, to see it ourselves from that spiritual perspective, right? That we are this beautiful, innocent soul, and we're just here to have this human experience. And so a lot of this innocence card is talking about like working on guilt, working on shame. Guilt says, I've done something wrong. Shame says, I am wrong. And so, especially because this is in relation to your intuitive connection and making your own connection, personal connection to your spirit and guides, they're saying, okay, well, we want this to happen. We want to talk to you as much as you want to talk to us. But we need to kind of clear this channel out because there's this static. We've got some debris. And it's like, I feel like this is going right into all that heart meditation that I put up a few weeks ago about the mind and heart coherence and getting ourselves into this sort of true alignment. Thank you, Passion Writer. Thank you. Um, so, with that being like the base of the reading or kind of describing where it's at, I feel like we need to generalize it even more as to also looking at ourselves, like looking at ourselves from that spiritual perspective, and then easing up on ourselves on the places where we are pressuring ourselves spiritually and intuitively. And that seems, it's funny, when I do readings in a day, there's usually themes each day. And today's theme did have a lot about personal pressure, pressuring ourselves. And here it is again in the group for the collective. So I'm so really not surprised. But the reason that I was bringing up doing the heart breathing or the heart coherence, I am serious, you guys. If you give it a week or two of really um, working the heart breathing and getting that coherence happening, it ups the ante on your intuition like tremendously. And the card that sits behind that innocence card, so this card here kind of starts the reading, and they're saying that this is the energy that's pushing us down our path this week. And funny enough, it's the frequency shift card. So, you know, they're saying like we need to make this connection. You guys are already connected, but we've got a little bit of work to do. And it's just about getting our vibration up. And I feel, it's funny, it's coming to me. I was speaking to someone today about connecting to guides, and what had come through, and I feel like it's very applicable to this, is that the first step when we are sitting here to connect with our guides isn't about intuiting some greater grand message. It's simply about being here and just sense in the room around us. If my guide is here, where would they be in the room with me? And just feeling out with your energy body where you would even just imagine for to start where they are. And then as you know, create an image of them in your imagination and feel them with your energy body, then it's like spread your energy into them and feel their energy and let your energy rise to match the vibration of them. And I feel like that frequency shift card is really talking about doing this sort of technique to help us get um, vibing at the right frequency and kind of getting us out of that head space and into this heart space, right? To make this better connection. Now, the card that sits crossways here acts like a bridge, and it takes us from where we are right now over the hump of this week and down our path. So, this is a good one. The one that's sitting crossways, our bridge, is the caretaker card. Now, what that's saying, like whenever that card, caretaker card, is coming up, it's talking about being in service. So I really have a feeling like for a lot of you that because we have so much quiet time and a lot of time to think, is like, how can I be in service to the world? Like, what is it inside of me? What gift do I have to give and to share? And I find that, there's a lot of us that get tripped up at that one spot about how to give our gift out to the world, how to truly be in service. And this is like the bridge to discovering our purpose, or we're already intuiting it and we keep poo-pooing it. No, oh no, I can't do that, and I'm not, oh, I'm not good enough, smart enough, intuitive enough, I'm not whatever. And so we push what's coming to us intuitively as to what our path is. And so they're really talking about us, and I mean us, me too, um, getting our inner house in order and really consciously making that direct connection so that we can move down our path from that place of service for the greater good of all. When we focus just first on our own highest good, then we have something powerful to give out here in the world. And it's almost like they're saying, we have this quarantine, this quiet time to be able to do that, right? So, what's interesting is the two cards that sit after that. So, the card that sits right after the caretaker card is the commitment card. And you see, it's like these two sides come together and they tie in this bow tie, in this knot. And I feel like, often this is a relationship card talking about making that big commitment or whatnot. But I feel like these guys, they're talking about you making that commitment to you, for you, because there's a lot of, this is a very uh, personally centered reading where often it's about how to get your energy going out there. And they're talking about getting it going in here for you and really making a commitment to yourself this week, like to a practice that resonates for you, that you feel drawn to, and you may have resistance to the practice that you choose as you start to do it. Resistance may come up, and that's the sign, guys. If you're feeling resistance to something that you're wanting to do as a practice or anything out there in the world, it's a sign that there's something in this for you, but you have a block here. And that's where you have to move through the resistance to have your breakthrough. So I feel like they're talking about really making that commitment to yourself, but not just to yourself, because we have that knowledge card and you remember the faces in here, right? And I feel like they're saying, like, make a commitment to us. Let's, you and I, be in a relationship, like in a serious, committed relationship, the one that most of us want out here in the world. Let's start with one in this inner world. Thank you for the donations, you guys. Now, the other card that's sitting here, um, and I think that this is kind of like a hint and a clue, it's somewhat, because we have the music card. And so that ends the row, right? The music card, and the frequency shift card starts the row. So I feel like they're talking about things like, I always say this word wrong. Solfeggio, the Hertz music. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Um, the Hertz music, you know, 423 Hertz or whatever it is that resonates with the heart, to use music, sound, and frequency to help make this shift in your frequency. But the other thing with this card is that, for each and every one of us as individuals, there's a particular tempo to our lives. There's this pace that's happening, this rhythm, and it's like a music in our lives. And sometimes we try to dance against it. We want to dance to this upbeat tempo when everything is slow. And I'm saying that because right now things kind of have slowed down for us to really step into this higher consciousness that's moving on the planet. And I feel like they're saying to not put pressure on yourselves in this process of really becoming more deeply connected within you. It's not about pressuring yourself, it's more about letting go and allowing and just going with the rhythm and flow that you feel this week, right? Um, I think Eckhart, of all the enlightened masters that are on the planet, Eckhart's really good at talking about, surrendering in our lives, like to really surrender to what is, not the ultimate. And, like one of the things he says is, well, you can, if you're in prison, you're not surrendering to life in prison, you're surrendering to sitting in a room right now. And so I feel like there's a big message of that for you guys here, that it's bringing you to this place where you really do have this commitment, and that you fall into this beautiful rhythm, like this natural surrender to the flow of how your intuition is opening for you personally, without those expectations, those crazy expectations that we put on ourselves, expecting it to be a certain way. And they're saying, just let go of that, let go of the flow, work on your frequency, work on your heart, work on this, and connect here, do that part. And then we will step in and meet you. Literally, we will meet you halfway here. We will meet you halfway. Okay. So this is very interesting. So the row below, I know it's hard to see because the camera is shorter on YouTube. So there's two cards sitting right below this main row. And these two cards are talking about in the physical world, what we can do to help feel solid and stable as we're walking our path, or what will help us to feel like we have some sort of foundation. And the card that's here is the rejuvenation card. And so I feel like they're talking about, through us making this commitment this week to ourselves and focusing on our personal work and getting our energies back into the right vibe, that we will have some sort of rejuvenation. Another word that I like to use instead of rejuvenation is renewal. It's almost like a renewal of our energy. And a lot of the time, that can be like a renewal in our, not our faith, but our faith. Yes, it's faith, like a renewal in our faith in our own ability to connect to spirit, because it's so easy to just forget that we are not just this human, that we are the very spirit and energy right here that we are trying to connect to. And so I feel like there's some sort of renewal or regeneration happening in that area of our lives. But I think as a side effect, they're kind of saying, through doing this work, you get this sort of, because it's down here in the physical realm, that they're talking about this, physical rejuvenation as well. So I think they're kind of saying, like your spirits kind of pick up, you just kind of feel happier for no reason. And physically, having more physical benefits, feeling better physically in every way. Now, the other card, this one is very interesting. Okay, so the other card that sits here in the physical realm is what they're talking about, is the manifest card. And it feels to me like they are talking about through you setting this intention to do the work on you that you need to do, that that intention literally goes out and and like, you know, how they prep a surgery table before we do surgery. It's almost like by you guys doing this part of the work, that intention actually goes out and like preps the way forward for you to help you, like, not just in the area of intuition, but also here in the physical world. It helps with you guys in really gaining a good base for your manifesting, because, you know, the ultimate purpose of us learning how to manifest, how it is that we manifest, the purpose of that is for its purpose is to wake us up to who and what we really are, right? And so there's a lot about awakening here in this reading, and it's really kind of blowing my mind. So I want to say, with that manifest card, I feel like if you do have the time, make sure that when you start researching manifesting, go through many alternatives. Thank you for, I am the therapist and we are having our therapy session today. Thank you, Cease. Um, I feel like it's really important that you guys really tune in when you're looking at different modalities of manifesting, to really sense, you know, for yourselves, intuit which one feels natural for you to begin to implement. Because it's kind of funny how manifesting, intuition, spiritual growth are like, I was going to say all sides of the same coin, but there's not three sides. I'm tired, but that's okay. I'm sure there's a better analogy. I just can't think of it right now. But they are all part and parcel of the same one whole and one goal, to for us to truly awaken, to truly enlighten, to be enlightened. So the very last card that sits here is like where all of this is heading for us. And you know, even though this is a week reading, like for the week, I think it's to like the 18th or something, I feel like this is almost like a month reading, to be honest, because there's so much, like they're just hitting everything and in such depth. But where they're saying that this is all heading is the violet flame. And so, with that violet flame card, that violet flame card is talking about kind of coming out of that tunnel, coming out into the light. And so, whether that's because you have been experiencing some depression, or have been feeling down and hard on yourself, or feeling like you've been faced with these walls that, you know, these walls that you can't just seem to break through in your life or break out in your life. And that violet flame card is kind of saying, you know, through this process and this journey and really committing to this, that this is what is going to bring you ultimately your healing. But the other thing with this card, and it is really hard to see on camera, I hope you can see it, there's the shape of a bat in here. And that bat represents change in Native American spirit medicine. So the bat represents change. So what are they talking about changing? They are literally talking about a change in your connection, how you perceive your connection. They're talking about a change with how you feel you can be in service, and understanding that service that you are here to give and participate in the world. And they're talking about a change in your manifesting. And I feel like they're kind of saying, not that everyone is going to get the dream car, dream house, and win the lotto. That's not what I mean. But that it will up our games so that we kind of sit more from this place of really starting to see how we actually do manifest, and we are seeing these changes, big and small, being reflected out here in our physical reality through this work that we're kind of being asked to do this week. Okay, well, that was a mouthful, wasn't it? So, okay, I have these two decks. Now I'm going to pull two cards from each of these. They're going to be a supplement to the reading, and they aren't going to go in our spread. These are going to be part of the layout cards, okay? Thank you, Deidre. My goodness, thank you for that donation. Thank you. All right, so we just need a couple more cards to go with our, I don't know. What do you guys think? To me, as I'm reading these cards, I'm kind of blown away at the message that has come through for us this week. It's, to me, I'm finding it quite powerful and empowering, and like lessons for me personally in this as well as for you guys. I feel like, oh, I'm going to go with that one. Lots of hearts. Okay. And two more. Okay, let's see. What do we have? Okay, as a supplement to what we've been going through. That's so awesome. Okay. So the first card we have is the integrity card. And I know a lot of you guys are familiar with this one because this one comes up a lot in the readings. And this is talking about, it's not questioning your integrity. And where oftentimes in the readings, if it's a relationship reading, I'm talking about the integrity of others and, having to be mindful of the integrity of others. And that is so not what they're talking about this week. This is you having integrity with yourself and in your commitment, and really honoring that, and honoring the work that you in your heart feel that you need to do, that will bring you this place and this healing. And just going, okay, I know my head tells me this, and this, but you know what? Forget it. I'm just going to go with what my heart is telling me. And this week, I'm going to just honor my heart. I'm going to honor my higher self. And I'm going to have integrity with myself, right? The other card that sits here is the fearless card. And I love this guy. Like, this is about us overcoming our fears, but not just fears. I feel like it's overcoming our blocks. And because that innocence card that we were talking about in the beginning of the reading, which is about our personal growth, right? That the fearless card is talking about us getting into ourselves, into the deepest parts, not our conscious, into the subconscious, to really find the very roots that seed some of our biggest fears and biggest blocks, because it's about getting in there to extract them, in order to give ourselves that freedom that we need. And it's funny because I was already using that analogy of, like, we're kind of like breaking out or busting out this week, and that fearless card is just like, yes, let's bust out, be free, get rid of this, with love. No, thank you. Right? Okay. Oh, so okay, I'm gonna save. Oh, I don't know which one to do first. It's okay. So, with that knowledge card, I was saying to that for some of you, it's about making the connection, and for others of you, it's about sharing the information that you're getting, right? Because we're all on different levels in this group. And the other card that's come out is the Speak Your Truth. And I absolutely love that this card has come out for a reading because I feel like they're not just talking about, I mean, okay, so they are talking about us sharing this intuitive information that is coming through, right? On some level. But I also feel like they are talking about speaking our truth to ourselves. Like a lot of the times we kind of we want to avoid ourselves or avoid our fear, and it's like, you know, kind of stepping into this truth, into our own truth, and really living it and embracing it. I also feel that this service card that we have here and the innocence card here, with talking about us doing our personal growth work this week, that there could be some challenges, feels like a strong word, opportunities, that's a better word, opportunities where we have like an invitation from the universe to really say what we need to say and really come from our heart in doing that. And that is part of that whole frequency shift, right? Because it's about learning to live our lives with integrity to ourselves, speaking our truth and being in alignment and speaking from, you know, our highest place, right? Okay. So the last card that sits here, I'm like, what better card could we have for this? Okay. And it's this celebration card. So I have to say, like, to me, this card looks like a party. And although there are no gatherings whatsoever, you know, we'd say 2 meters apart. I don't know how many that is in feet. So we aren't really going to be having any parties per se. But I feel like this celebration card is, they're kind of saying to you, you know, there's going to be a point in the week where you do have that kind of breakthrough, aha, epiphany moment where you kind of go, yeah, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? And this is like within you because of something that you've discovered, you've broke through on your own. And I really love the energy that's coming out from this card. So they're really talking about something good to come of this, out of this in this week, I feel, because the reading is mainly for this week. Okay, so do you guys have any questions about the cards that I laid out so far? And you can't wait for the change. That's so funny. Neither can I. I could definitely use a celebration moment. Thank you, my best life. I love you guys too, and you just don't know how much of a contribution that you guys make to my life by being here and like following my work. Like, you know, this is a very mutual relationship, I feel, because you give back to me so much. Okay, I'm tired and I'm gonna start, you know, I cry on a dime. I really do. So anyhow. So would you guys like to do some charms before we finish up for our readings? A little bit, explain a little bit more about the violet flame. Okay, so that violet flame card, if you want to know more about the violet flame, there's a lot of stuff on Google that you can actually Google to give you an understanding of what it's talking about. But that violet flame card is kind of talking about going through this inner spiritual, physical, mental, emotional purification process. And that flame, it just represents a type of divine healing energy that literally helps to purify us of the things that we need to release and let go of. Perhaps we picked it up, in days past, years past, in childhood, that at the time those things served us for our survival. But God, we don't need them anymore. And it's time to let it go. Like, let these things go, these old behavior patterns, thinking patterns, relationship patterns, beliefs about ourselves. And it's talking about really coming through that purification process. And that ultimately affects the physical body, because when we have all these things that we are storing, the subconscious kind of like stores them within our body, and they begin to manifest as physical disease, right? So they're talking about a restoration with that violet flame card on like many levels. Some may be more subtle for you this week, and some might be very pronounced, and you will feel it quite clearly. And transmutes other energies. Yes, when you become the violet flame. Yes, that's right. Okay. So, would you guys like me to do some charms? Yes to charms. Yes, please. Okay. Um, so before I do the charms, I just want to say next week I'm doing part 2 of the intuitive development class, and we're going to really in depth cover intuiting information for yourself, how you do that, how you can get out of your way, whether you are doing cards or just tuning into your guides. We're just going to dive into that along with a few other things. So I hope you join me for that. Now, I just got to get these guys out of the way in order to do the charms. Thank you, Lynn. Okay. So, this week on the taped video, just our regular pick a card that we do this week, this here is a sealed box of the Return of Spirit cards. And I just got these from my printers in China, sent me 2 decks. They're called advanced decks because we're in the middle of doing another print run. And so when they come off the press, they give me 2 random decks to open up and go over. And I've gone through them. And now I have this one here. And I'm thinking I'm going to do a giveaway on the next video. So that will be coming out Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, on one of those 3 days, and you'll see what the giveaway is. And one of you guys, I will send this deck to you for free. So I just had to say that. Okay. And I am available for personal readings. I do have to say that, and all the info is down below in the comments section. Always have to say that. And I do have my sale on, and it's not going to be for much longer. My calendar is crazy. Okay, so this is where I have to say goodbye, and you just get my lovely hands. So I'm going to pull the camera in and aim it down, and I'm going to dig us out some charms to go with our reading, okay? So, and I'll stay in chat for a few minutes after we finish the video, just so you know. I'll chat in the super chat. Okay, guys. Okay, so let's see. We'll just mix her up and we'll get ourselves out of. Now look at that. Okay, what do we have? I feel like we need just a few more to add to this. And we'll put that down too. Okay. So I think that this one is calling me the most because this is our little devil. And clearly with this guy, that devil is often talking about temptations. Now, there's a lot of other meanings, but I feel like because we had such a intense reading today about, you know, kind of starting a bit of a regime and really making a commitment to ourselves to getting this connection going. I feel like this devil is kind of like talking about being tempted to, oh, well, maybe I just won't meditate right now. I'm gonna put that off and just watch this video first. And or, you know, they are talking about us kind of getting tempted away from what we really should be doing. So I feel like that's just a little heads up for you guys. The turtle. Now that totally makes sense, because how many times I've said in this reading today that this is very much about us breaking through and busting out. Okay, so we have the cross, and that cross is talking about deepening our spiritual connection, which really goes along with all of that that we've been talking about. Yes, the butterflies. I just looked up at the thing. Now, this is amazing, you guys. We have 1, 2, 3 butterflies here. And there's a few more that you can't see. So let's see. Okay. So we have 3 butterflies. So right away, having 3 butterflies, that is definitely talking about transformation. This is about us in one way, like the turtle, kind of coming out of our shell. This is talking about us, you know, spreading our wings and really going on what resonates for us and what feels good for us in our journey of making this connection this week, because butterflies float on the wind. So that's kind of the connection that I keep feeling with this, along with this transformation that we've been asked to kind of step into. And, you know, this little guy hasn't come out before. This cactus is actually talking about inner reserves. I don't know where to put it. I'm trying to get him in shot here for you guys. So that cactus is talking about our inner reserves, our inner well, and it feels like it's talking about, you know, us having more inside than we realize. Because when you look at a cactus, you think it's empty, but lo and behold, it holds water. And so it's like there's this resource and wealth within you to come out. And I feel like that so also goes because of that knowledge card that was, you know, the lead of the reading for us today. And we also have the owl. And the owl, of course, is wisdom. And because owls are nocturnal and, you know, hunt at night, a lot of this is about, you know, like quote unquote, seeing through the darkness, seeing through these things in ourselves, right? So within ourselves and what it is that we are working toward. Okay, so I'm just going to, we've got 1, 2, okay. Oh, there's another one. 3. Look at that. So we have 3 butterflies and 3 keys. And, you know, keys open up doorways, right? So I feel like that, again, is a reiteration of this opening up for us, something opening in our path on our way, definitely to our connection. Ooh, and look at that. So yeah, it couldn't be any better. So we have the sign of Pisces, you know, and Pisces is the last of the zodiac signs. And Pisces is ruled by Neptune. They are the dreamers, the imagination, the creativity. But Neptune is like very deeply spiritual. And it's kind of like, you know, a lot of the time they say Neptune hazes things over and makes it difficult for us to see things. And I feel like this is actually talking about, um, you know, inner clarity, spiritual seeing instead of trying to see through our 2 eyes, right? So that's pretty amazing. And we've got the, oh my goodness. Okay, as soon as I touched this, I went, okay, I get it. See how these are two hearts interlocked? And I was saying to you that the that commitment card was each of us working to come together to really like with spirit is reaching out for us as much as we are reaching out to them, and I feel like that's really representing that on some deep level. Oh my goodness. Okay, I knew something was going to talk about that. Well, remember I was talking about the celebration card? There we go. I don't think there's a better term, and I don't think it needs much explanation, right? And again, look at that. We've got the guitar going here. So that again is a second confirmation about the music being in flow, things like that. We've got the unicorn, which I really feel is like, seeing the magical in life. And I feel like a lot of the times when this comes up, that it's talking about seeing those kind of signs from our angels or our guides and really getting a taste of the magical. And so I feel like that's for us this week. Now we've got the flower here. So this week I feel like this flower is talking about the blossoming and blooming, because it's almost like all of us this week, where we start out right now, we're like these little buds, and over the week we're going to be blossoming and opening, right? And that's why I've put it over here with our three butterflies, because it really does go with that. We also have the circle, and it is this blue color, so I feel like it's talking about completion somehow, and this could be completion with a particular communication, with somebody that you've been speaking with, emailing with. There's it, like it brings it full circle, it completes it somehow, and you'll have to wait and see how things unfold throughout the week. Excuse me. And the last one is our little Cupid. So, you know, I feel like this is, Cupid is about falling in love. And I feel like this is in a way representing this time not really like a relationship, but us falling in love with ourselves, because it's so introspective for us this week. Yep. Okay. I have no clue what this is. So this one will be for you guys. I think it's a letter J. What do you guys think that is? And for the life of others. Yeah. So I think that that's a J, and I really am not sure unless it's for joy. There may be someone with the letter J that is significant to you this week. Pisces people might also be significant to you this week. It could be for Jesus. J with a crown. Yes, there's a crown on it. So a Santa sock. Yeah, I'll, I'll let you guys interpret that one because I'm really unsure with this reading. Now, the last one is this little bitty fork. And so I feel like they are talking about really feeding and nurturing yourselves this week with what, like, soul food. You know what I mean? This is all about the soul food. Oh, and look at that. We have another flower. So I feel like they're just really backing that up. Okay, you guys, this has been absolutely amazing. I love you guys so much. I'm going to sit and chat on the chat after I close the video for as long as YouTube will let us talk, okay? So I'll see you guys sometime very soon. Take care.